Hello and welcome to another episode of Minecraft 101. In this episode we will be exploring all things villager related. Now before we get started, I want to give you a quick update on what has happened since our last video. As you can see, I've gotten a whole bunch of sugarcane. This is actually in preparation for one of the first big farms we're going to be making, which is going to be a sugarcane farm. I've also got this little furnace array here just so I can smelt up ores pretty quick and smelt up stone pretty quick. I have hoppers underneath to pull the items out and redistribute them into the chest. I've got some spruce trees up here just so I get a nice supply of wood whenever I need it. And in here you can see all of the resources that I've gathered up a whole bunch of redstone, some iron, quite a few diamonds. I haven't really been hunting diamonds, but as I find them, I just go ahead and pick them up. I've also been getting some more food, just to always have it. And down here I even have some redstone supplies. Just so I've got them on hand for when I'm ready to get started on redstoning. And I just realized I broke my last pickaxe. So let me get a few more pickaxes. There we go. Okay, now to get started, the first thing you need to do is find villagers. Now this can be a little annoying early on, and depending on your playstyle, it's up to you as far as how you want to find villagers. To save time and energy and effort, I'm going to use what some might consider to be a bit of a cheaty way of doing it. I'm going to get the seed from my world, and we are back, and we are in a creative testing world. Here I've gone ahead and set up all of the different kinds of villagers you can have. We start off with what's called the, let me turn down hostile creatures all the way. So the slime. Okay, apparently slimes are not in hostile creatures. Maybe. Slimes are apparently considered friendly. That's weird. So here we have our unemployed villager. You right click on him, he can't do anything. The unemployed villagers are the base villager. We're going to use them to turn into any other kind of villager. In order to turn them into other kinds of villagers, you need what are called workstations. We have the loom, the barrel, the smoker, the blast furnace, the cartography table, the fletching table, the smithing table, the grindstone, the stone cutter, the grindstone, the composter, the cauldron, the brewing stand, and the lectern. Those are the different kinds of wow, my brain is not working this morning. Those are the different kinds of workstations, and they each give you a different kind of villager, and each kind of villager has different trades. So the loom is what you would use to get a shepherd. The shepherd deals in wool. You trade wool for emeralds, or you trade emeralds for wool or other wool products. As you trade with a villager, they will level up. So you can see here at the top, this is a master shepherd. He has a lot of trades because I have unlocked all of those trades. As we go down the line, these villagers I've traded less and less with. So this is a Journeyman Fisherman. Fishermen trade things like string for emeralds, and they trade emeralds for fish or fish for emeralds. So depending on what you have access to is going to determine what kind of villagers make the most sense. If you have a string farm, so if you've got a spider spawner and you have a lot of string, I would suggest getting a fisherman so that you can get emerald for that string. If you have a smoker, that gives you the butcher. This is great if you've got a lot of raw meat or you need food. The blast furnace gives you the armorer. The armorer, the toolsmith, and the weaponsmith. Those three tend to have trades for iron. You give them iron, they give you emeralds. So if you have an iron farm, they're great. Cartographer deals in maps. These are kind of a specialized villager. I very rarely ever want cartographers. They do have paper trades, so if you have a lot of sugarcane, you've got a good sugarcane farm, paper for emeralds. But I typically don't worry about the cartographer. The Fletcher is for arrows and bows. You can also sometimes get a Fletcher that has a stick trade where you give them sticks and they give you emeralds. So if you've got a good wood farm or a good bamboo farm, that's great. The toolsmith gives you tools. The mason gives you, among other things, clay, terracotta, brick, and when you get further down into their trades, they'll give you quartz blocks. So what I said in the last episode about how you don't want to use quartz ore to build quartz blocks, you want a mason to give you quartz blocks. It can be a little bit slower at times, but also at times a lot safer and a lot more resource friendly. The farmer tends to be that zombie villager is annoying. The farmer tends to be the go-to for getting emeralds because they always have some sort of crop trade, carrot, potato, wheat, or beet for emeralds. They also tend to get melons and pumpkins for emeralds. So they're a great source of getting emeralds throughout the game. The leather worker will do leather for emeralds or emeralds for leather armor. Clerics have a great rotten flesh trade, so if you have a zombie spawner like we do, having some clerics to get rid of that rotten flesh and give you emeralds would be very useful. Also, I've used the emerald for redstone dust trade a lot when I get to building some crazy farms and I need more redstone. Finally, we get down to the Librarian, which is the most useful villager because of these enchanted books. You can get some librarians that give you emeralds for paper or emeralds for books, but typically you want to use your librarians not as an emerald generator, but as a book generator. You want to get really good book trades from your librarians. The last kind of villager we have here, it's actually not the last. There is another kind called the Nitwit, but they're kind of hard to find, and I'm not going to stress about finding them. If you find a villager with a green coat, just don't worry about it. You can't do anything. It's a complete waste of your time. The zombie villager. When a zombie kills a villager, he will always convert into a zombie villager. And if you then go too far away, the zombie villager will despawn. But just because a zombie has killed your villager and turned him into a zombie villager is not the end of the world. If you get a weakness potion, splash potion of weakness, and a golden apple, you can convert the zombie villager, back into a regular villager. That was loud. So I'm going to just music and sound, turn down the master volume. Over the course of probably, I think it's like 5 minutes, this guy will convert back into a villager. And when we get more advanced, we're going to want to take advantage of this mechanic to give us some really awesome trades. So splash potion of weakness and golden apple. So those are all of the different kinds of villagers that we have. With the villagers that we currently have, we're going to need to get them back over to our base area, and we're going to want to start getting them moving on certain resources. Probably going to want to get a couple farmers going so that we can get a big crop farm going, because we're going to use that crop farm to get a villager breeder up and running. I believe a villager breeder is on our agenda either for this episode or the next episode. So we're going to get back into the actual Minecraft world, and we will get started on transporting those villagers. So I'll be right back. And we are back. So I've gone ahead and done all of the formatting that I think I'm going to need. I have set up a nether portal here. The reason I'm using a nether portal is because even though I am relatively close to my starter base, The nether makes the travel time much quicker. For every 1 block you travel in the nether, that equates to 8 blocks in the overworld, so you can travel much greater distances much quicker. There is a bit of a glitch with this nether portal, but it's actually working in my favor. When I made this portal, instead of it creating a new portal in the nether, we were actually close enough to the first portal that we made that it linked up with that portal. So what I'm going to be doing is sending villagers into this portal. They're going to be coming out into the nether from my other nether portal, which is going to push them back into my starter base. I have a minecart track here. You'll notice I have a half slab here. This is because as the villagers travel through, I don't want them to take suffocation damage. Half blocks, half slabs, stairs, glass, those are all great. Fences are all great options for what are called transparent blocks, which are blocks that are not considered to be full blocks and therefore don't give suffocation damage. I have an activator rail down here. That way, when I get the villager there, I can simply flick the switch and it will knock them out, hopefully into the portal. Hopefully it won't push them into this block, because that would be a little unfortunate. The other reason I'm using half slabs is also, at this height specifically, is because I can crouch and walk under it, so I don't have to worry about breaking blocks. I have a rail here with some powered rails every now and then just to give the villager some movement, and I have it leading into here with a half slab again at that same height to keep the villagers in there, but to prevent the villager from taking suffocation damage. As you can see right now, his head's in the middle of that block, but he's not dying. I can then turn on the switch. He picked up a profession because there's a composter nearby, and hopefully when I flick this switch, he's gone. He went into the nether. So now I just have to break this and go into the nether. And actually, yeah, I'll go into the nether. I'm going to follow him. And he should be out here. Perfect. Now I just have to nudge him back into the portal. Did he just throw something at me? I think he might have. If nudging them gets to be too annoying, I can always put a rail, and a minecart, and then push him into the minecart, hopefully. Of course, he's not cooperating. There we go. And then push him into the portal block, break the minecart, and now he's on the other side of the portal, which will link back to my base. Here he is. As you can see, I've got this already formatted. I'm down at the bottom of the world, which is not ideal for where I want these guys, but you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. He is being a little obnoxious right now, standing in the portal. So what I'm going to do is break this block, put a half slab there. I need more half slabs. And I'm going to break this block, put a half slab there. And now I can break these two. He won't be able to get underneath it. And I can push him out onto that. I hope I actually put the minecart down. So I can push him into the minecart. There we go. And now it should just be a matter of pushing him into his little cell. Just need to block it off so that he can't get through. And then we should be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of the other ones, and I'll get back when I'm done with that. And we are back. As you can see, I now have 4 villagers hidden away in these little villager cells. So that way later on I can take some out and put them in a crop farm, put them in a villager breeder, put them in a iron golem farm, just so I have got them over here near my base. I've left a few of them over in the village just in case these guys die. You'll notice I put a half slab here. That way I can still look at them. There is a torch in there with each one of them just to make sure a mob doesn't spawn. but you want to make sure you put a half slab or a trapdoor or something here to prevent baby zombies from getting in there and killing your villagers. So that's going to do it for the villager manipulation part. Now we're going to talk a little bit about villager trading mechanics. So I'm going to go ahead and pop back into the testing world, and we're going to talk about some of the mechanics that you need to be aware of if you're going to be playing around with villagers. And here we are. So the first thing that we need to talk about with villagers is time. Villagers are now only do certain actions at certain periods of time. Typically, it's between 1800. So if it's outside of those times, if it's too early in the morning, if it's too late in the evening, the villagers they will trade with you, but they will not do what we call reset their trades. So if I get myself some emeralds, and we go down to, let's say, this guy, and we trade arrows with him, he is now locked with this trade. Because it is too late in the afternoon, the sun is setting, he is not going to refresh his trade. He will upgrade himself, but he will not allow me to get more arrows. Now, if I then set the time, if you ever are having trouble with getting your villagers to move where you need them to move, you can put down a bed, and the villagers should fall asleep. So you can use the bed as a way of getting the villager to move somewhere. So once he realizes that that bed is available, he'll run over here and fall asleep. Same with this one. So it's a great way to move them around. We're typically going to use beds to move villagers for things like putting them into farms. But as far as putting them into trading cells, usually it's a better idea to put them in using minecarts. So you'll see here these zombies are chasing this villager. They're going to attack him, and they'll eventually convert him into a zombie villager, hopefully, if he doesn't run too fast. You know what, I'm just going to help it along. Where are zombie? No, not zombie horse. I don't know why I would pick that up. That's kind of funny to watch him just get chased around. You know what, if I want to do this right, I'm just going to run over here to this village that spawned in, and there should be a villager probably inside one of these houses. There we go. And he converted into a zombie villager. Anyways, I'm just playing around. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below.